Welcome back to the Author Audience Show. My name is Shelley Hitz, and in today's episode, I'm going to highlight a coaching call with one of my members, Sharon Buck. Welcome, Sharon.
Hey, how are you?
It's so good to have you because, when you first joined Author Audience Academy, I have seen so much growth in you in even just this short amount of time. And I remember when you first submitted for this coaching call, and it was just, things were just kind of not as organized in your mind. And now you have a clear plan and you send it to me, and we're going to be talking about that today. But I'm just so excited for you. So way to go.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I've learned a lot being in your group. Tremendous amount of personal growth because of being with other Christian people, and not the ooey gooey kind, the real kind. I've really learned a lot. I've been a writer for years and published umpteen million different times and stuff, but I have really learned a lot from yours. And I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical at first, but going through the Planet Day, phenomenal.
Yeah, and that's why I'm really excited. And I'm also excited because you're primarily a fiction author, correct?
Yes.
And so sometimes I get people that ask me, because I do focus on nonfiction, but they'll ask me, does the Academy help fiction authors as well? And I would say you're a great example of someone who has gotten a lot of help from the training and just the community of other authors. And so I love that. So what we're going to do in this call, I'm going to open in prayer, and then I'm going to set my timer because I get excited and I get into things. And then we'll dive into your 90-day goal, your 90-day plan, and I'll help you in whatever way we can. So let me just open in prayer. And Lord, I just thank you for Sharon. I thank you for the calling and the gifting on her life to write. And I just pray that you would just continue to bless her writing, bless her marketing, bless her personal life and her spiritual life. May she just continue to glorify you in all that she does and give us wisdom and insight as we go through this call today. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to screen share and show my mind map so that I can walk you through what I do. All right, can you see my screen there?
Yes.
And then I'm going to set my timer real quick just so I don't get carried away. What I did is I read through your document and I loved it, Sharon. You were very detailed on your 90-day plan and what you wanted to do. Of all of the different goals that you had there, in Planet Day, I talk about how there's one goal, your breakthrough goal, that all the other goals help to accomplish. And typically it's something that's going to either give you more time, more money, or more accountability. So I chose your financial goal to be your breakthrough goal, and then everything else will be working towards that. Does that make sense?
Great. I'm loving on that. So
okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you mind if I share that financial goal?
No, don't mind it at all.
Okay, so what you had written is that you want to make $1,500 by the end of February on book sales. So I thought that could be like your overarching breakthrough goal, and then all the other ones kind of come underneath that to help make that happen. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Whoop, that's jumping around. And you had a really, oh my goodness, I'm having problems with my thing. Okay, you had a really great detailed plan that you sent me, and I broke it down into a couple different categories that you had written goals for: books, marketing, spiritual, health, and daily. But before we dive into that, just tell me a little bit about your business, what it is that you primarily do, how much income you're currently making, that sort of thing, just to kind of get an overview of where you're at right now.
Okay, my business is, I'm one of those folks that's blessed where I can pretty much do everything full time. And that's pretty much what I focus on. I mean, I do some, I don't want to say odds and ends, but some other projects here and there. But predominantly I focus on writing and marketing my stuff full time because I really feel like that's what the Lord has told me I'm supposed to do. And I've gone many times in my mind going, okay, so do I need to go get a job or just what? And it's been very, very clear that I'm supposed to write, period.
Yeah, and it's so easy to get distracted. And that's one of the things that I even have to keep reining myself back in. It's like, no, Shelley.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, that's one of the things that AAA has been so great with, is helping to keep me focused and really being open to hear what God has to say. So I decided at the beginning of this year, well, actually when I started with you, I really was already moving into doing this full time. And once I started with you, with your group, it really became more and more apparent that this is what I really needed to focus on. So that's pretty much what I do, is I focus on writing, my editing, and marketing. And I've had, shall we say, a number of distractions where people have asked me to, in our group actually, they've emailed me directly and they've said, oh, well, can you edit? Can you do websites? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I'll be honest, it's tempting.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really is, but I have referred them back to the resource area and the membership platform that you've created, because I just don't feel like that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yes, and that one word no is, it can, or not right now, or here's another person I recommend. It's so powerful to really help give you momentum in your 90-day goal, in your breakthrough goal, because that way you're not spreading yourself out too thin. How many books do you have published right now online?
Right now, I think there's 6. There's either 6 or 7. 2 are fiction, one's nonfiction, and there's a couple anthologies there that I've written in, and I've also ghostwritten 5 books over the years, not recently. And I'm doing okay. I'm not doing phenomenally great, but I'm not doing phenomenally bad either. And the big thing that I'm working on right now is my 3rd fiction book in the Parker Bell series is called The Fabergé Easter Egg. And once I get that 3rd book out, then it will be much easier for me to be accepted by BookBulb on promoting the book, because they want to have at least 3 books in a series before they will consider you. It's very, very tough to get in there. It's very expensive to run a one-day ad. The flip side of the coin is I know and have several friends who've done this, and they're like, if you can ever get in there, it will massively jumpstart your sales.
Oh, yeah. I met someone, a fiction author, at Indie Author Day at our local library, and she had tremendous growth in her sales this last year. So I went up and asked her, and she shared, in a presentation, I went up and asked her, I said, what would you credit that growth in sales? She said, oh, I got featured by BookBub 3 times. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, it really does help. So, yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't heard that about fiction, like that if you have 3 books in the series, that it helps you. But so how much would you say you're making with your book royalties now? You want to try to get to $1,500.
They run, I mean, it varies. And somewhere around the $200 to $400 a month.
Okay.
Which is not bad. I looked at my numbers the other day and on KDP, and it turned out in November and the first part of December, I was selling print books almost 2 to 1 on the ebooks. From the middle of December to what's today? Today's Wednesday. I think probably Sunday. It flipped. It was almost 2 to 1 selling on the ebooks.
That's interesting.
So, it's a really interesting thing how it suddenly flip-flopped, and I'm not real sure of the reason for that.
It might be people buying books for presents or for, over the holidays and such.
Yeah.
We sell a lot of print books leading up to Christmas, so that might be part of it. But okay, that gives me a good idea to know like where you're at right now. Now for your plan, you had different categories. You had your books, marketing, spiritual health, and daily. What area would you want to start with to get some insight and help from me to start off with?
I'm thinking probably that the book writing is not that problematic for me. Let me put it that way.
It comes for you pretty easily.
It really does. I mean, like I said, I've been a professional writer for years and just started getting in the last couple of years doing fiction writing. I have a couple of friends who say once you get 4 to 6 fiction books out a year, then you pretty much don't have to worry about anything. So my goal for this year is get 4 to 6 fiction books out. The 90-day plan is to get 1 completed, and I just started on it back at the beginning of January. So to get 1 of those finished rough draft form by February the 15th, and then have almost immediately start another one. So got that. The marketing thing for me is being super consistent. Consistency, I mean, content, what is it? Content is king and consistency is queen, or
Yeah.
it's like, and the big thing for me is on marketing, tapping into the target audience. I thought my target audience was going to be in the 55 plus age group, female. It turns out it's like 35 to 55 and predominantly female. So I need to I need to rethink on some of the areas where I am promoting my book. And one of the things that we actually talked about in the group one day was going to Pinterest, and I'm in the process of learning Pinterest. I actually had something set up several years ago. I've just never utilized it very much. Doing that, the other thing is because I am a clean writer. I may swear on occasion, but I write clean. I don't.
Yeah.
There's no naughty words in any of my books. There's no sex scenes. There's maybe a smooch here and there, but I mean, there is definitely nothing else that could be construed as offensive in any shape or form. So I'm really more interested in marketing better to my target audience. I'll be honest. I mean, I've done internet, I've owned website companies, I've done all sorts of stuff. I don't understand Instagram. I don't pretend to. I'm not even sure I really want to learn how to do that. But I need to do that. The marketing, I've got a really great idea, I believe, on doing videos called the Sad Book Diary, kind of like the Sad Cat Diaries.
Okay.
Very flat voice, and do it in 30 to 45 seconds, do it once a week. I've already got everything written out. It is learning how to create it on the cell phone off of the video course that you did. I've had resistance, and I don't know if that's just simply because I really don't want to learn how to do 4 more programs on the cell phone.
I know. It is easy. I found myself recently having resistance to certain things that, I'm always continuing to learning and doing new things. And one of them is we have a new accounting system. I finally got on there recently, and it was not as hard as I made it out to be in my mind.
So it is.
Yeah. So, I recommend the Pomodoro technique and just scheduling it. So put it on your calendar, schedule it, say, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to work on getting that. And then just start going through each step one at a time. Use the Pomodoro technique if you need to, and just do it, because you won't know how it's going to be work and how it's going to be received until you do it. But once you have those skills of video, oh my goodness, video, when you talk about content being king, video content is king of kings, but Jesus is king of kings. But I'm just saying it's like the top of the content marketing. So once you learn the skill of video, you can use that in so many different ways, and it can be very powerful.
Let me interrupt you a second real quick. I've done book trailers. I've done a boatload of book trailers. I know how to do all this. The only thing for me is learning it to do it on the cell phone. That's it. I can, in all honesty, I can actually create it without the cell phone. It's just, I thought, well, gee, it would be just so much easier and faster if I did it on the cell phone. Maybe not. But.
Yeah, and so maybe that's what you need to consider and decide, you already have the skills of doing video on your computer. So if you already have those skills, maybe it's just, and you're feeling so much resistance, maybe just get started and do it on the computer, what you already know. And, you can learn the iPhone at any time. You can go back through and learn that. But do you really need to learn that right now?
I don't know. I got the video course from you actually before I joined the group. And I don't know if I really need to or not. I mean, I guess I thought I did because it was like, oh, you're doing it, so it's cool. I need to do this, and my little competitive nature.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know that I really need to do that, because, I mean, really, I can sit down on my regular video stuff and do it probably in 15 or 20 minutes and be done with it.
Okay, so then that's learning the iPhone is an obstacle. It's the bright, shiny object syndrome. I get it too all the time. And you see other people doing stuff or whatever, and you're like, oh, okay, I can learn that. You can learn it, but you know what? You already have the skills you need to do this. Let's just get these done,
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to do that. First, before we start diving into anything else, because we have limited time, what do you know as far as what you've done in the past? What do you know has already worked well? Is there something that you're doing or something that you've done that has had good success so far?
What I've done in the past that helped me was video. Video is one thing. Blogging does not seem to be that effective for me.
Okay.
And I've taken other courses on
Yeah.
it, John Morrow for one thing, but I just don't find that to be that effective for me. I've sold courses on social media. That actually helped to drive traffic, but it didn't help in terms of book sales per se. But what's worked in terms of book sales is really engaging people, creating the know, like, and trust factor on Facebook. Facebook typically works very well for me because it's relationship oriented. Twitter, Twitter's sporadic for me. It really has been. LinkedIn, as long as you understand that people that are on LinkedIn really only look at that stuff like once a week.
Yeah.
Realistically, you go, okay, fine. The average income of somebody on LinkedIn is $150,000 a year. They can certainly afford, a $2.99
Right.
ebook or a $9.99 paperback. They don't typically engage. You have to market totally different to them. Fiction books, I have found, don't do particularly well.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Goodreads, it's a little iffy. Pinterest, is getting ready to do. So my big thing is just getting out there and talking to people predominantly on Facebook. Twitter, like I said, it's erratic.
Yeah.
I might get a slew of sales one week and then it's dead for 2 weeks.
Okay. So what you found to work, and you are very good. You're in our Facebook group and you are very helpful. You're very engaging. You have like a similar thing with how I work. That's the way I am, relational. And so Facebook works really well for me too. So since that already is working well for you, have you done any searches on Facebook for groups that are actually active for fiction readers or readers in your target market? Have you looked for that yet?
I'm in the process of working on that because one of my goals, which you probably saw on there, is to engage 3 readers groups a day off of that. And I'll be honest, I've not had hardly any response off of book readers on just finding groups on the internet for whatever reason. So I was thinking of going to the Facebook method of looking up for readers groups on that and seeing, trying to get really involved. I've been a member of several groups, but they're deader than a doornail.
Right. So I was looking back over your list of marketing. You have a lot of things on there. You would need to find groups that are active. So they're posting, you'll see that in Author Audience Academy. People are posting on it, people comment, and they interact. So you want to find a group that's active. You want to find a group that's actually of readers and not just other authors, although other authors will support each other, and they do. So some of those author groups are fine, but really try to find groups where you see the readers interacting and commenting, that sort of thing too. And that may be something to put on your calendar as far as just researching. And I'm not sure, because I have not researched it myself for Christian fiction, how many groups are out there that are actually engaged. You don't want a group that's just a billboard, for authors to post things, because there's a lot of those out there and they're just spammy. But I think that would be a really great place for you because of who you are, because of your personality. And those of you listening, you want to find marketing strategies that fit you, that fit your personality, and that fit what works. What are some things that have worked for you? So it sounds like you've said video, and Facebook's really worked. Now, I did notice on your sheet a really interesting thing that you put on here. You said contact 3 book clubs a day, Monday through Friday, with a book club offer. Tell me a little bit more about that.
On the book club offer, that is, and I've got it actually set up on my website, SharonEBuck.com, and it says 4 book clubs. If they will buy 5 books from me directly, I will give them an extra free book.
Okay.
And because a lot of book reader clubs have 6 people in it, and that helps them. They usually have 5 to 7 people. So the thing is if they purchase 5 books from me directly, then I will give them an extra book for free. And I've actually just done this with the book club, where the original idea that I had for A Dose of Nice came out of a humorous regional cookbook that I had done for the Blue Crab Festival here in Palatka. So I've got little funny snippets at the beginning and at the end of each recipe, and it kind of developed from there. So I've done that where they just bought the books directly from me.
Okay. Have you started contacting book clubs yet?
Yes. That's what I was saying a moment ago, is I've already contacted some, and I've not had very much response back. I only had one response out of what I've done so far.
Okay, out of how many people that you contacted?
I've done 18 groups so far.
Okay, so what you'll need to do is continue to track this. I find this very interesting. I love this strategy, but you'll have to see, is it worth your time? So how much time are you putting into it? If you have a certain template and then you edit it for each person, I don't know how you're doing it, but
that's exactly what I'm doing.
But you're at least getting a response. You've gotten one response, and so you are getting response. And so how are you finding the book clubs?
I just Google them. The thing with meetups, that does not work. I actually have to just get in there, Google it, and find it, and go on. And something I wanted to ask you real quick.
Yeah.
I own the domain name Southern Chicklets, spelled both ways, CHICK and CHIK, and it directs right into my Sharon Buck website. That is actually a subgenre category in Goodreads, and I'm wondering if I really should start promoting myself as a Southern chick lit author, since in Amazon you can actually find chick lit, but if you really define it out, Southern chick lit, you can actually find books in that category. Because I own the domain name, I'm wondering if I really should promote that much more so than myself as an author. I mean, it is me. There's no two ways about it. But I'm wondering if I should brand myself out on that.
That's an interesting thought. Let me just pause on that real quick. Is that a pretty strong genre? Like, is that something?
Yeah, it actually is. It's starting to become a very for Goodreads to put it out there and to be able now to find it on Amazon. It is.
Like, would people know, like, I'm not in that target audience, but people would know, like, what Southern Chicklet is, right?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. If somebody said, Shelley, would you like to read a Southern Chicklet book? What's the first thought that comes to mind?
It's, obviously has that Southern flair and probably is a romance story of some sort, because if it's Chicklet... Is that what chicklet? I don't know. I'm not your target audience.
It's actually, what it is it's actually funny, cozy mysteries.
Funny, cozy mysteries.
You have murders, but you don't have the blood and guts that go with it. So the Southern chicklet is actually kind of a funny, tongue-in-cheek type of writing.
Okay.
It really is not romance-based at all.
Okay. Is chicklet in general not romance then?
Yeah, chicklet in general is romance.
Oh, okay.
Southern chicklet is not.
Okay. So that's where the confusion would come in. But if your target audience understands that might take a little bit more research just to find out, like, your target reader, would they get that? Would they understand that it's funny, cozy mysteries? Or would they get it confused with romance? If they understand it, and if your target audience is like, yes, that's what I want, then yes, I mean, I would put that into your target audience and, like, your marketing of how you market yourself. You're a Southern Chicklet author. If not, you might want to rework it a little bit with that, funny, cozy mysteries, however you want to say that. But I would maybe even survey some of your readers, talk to some people, look a little bit more online. And if it is something that they get, they know, I mean, because there's so many different genres, and everyone, like, if they're into that, they know exactly what it is. I mean, I don't read a ton of fiction anyways, but, I do enjoy it at times, but that would be the biggest thing. Did you have any other questions on that? We're kind of...
That was it. I just wanted to ask that before I totally forgot about it.
Yeah, good deal. So I'd say keep doing the book clubs and until you have further data. Right now, you have gotten a response. Now, you also said you were going to contact 3 Christian bookstores every day. And I'm like, you go, girl. Because you're doing it by phone or email. And have you started doing that?
I just started doing that. I've had a couple of the stores say, send me information. So, what I did was I figured it was easier if I called them directly and then followed up with an email and say, hey, you requested, I almost always will put my first name in the subject heading and then dash and then whatever it is following up on our phone call. And the reason why I do that is so many people get so much spam out there. I want you to know that it's a real person versus what.
My speech coach, and this applies to anything you do, she's like, Shelley, you just need to pick up the phone. Like what happens is we get behind, like there's a fear or something that comes over us, or just a laziness sometimes for me, not for you, but I'm just saying sometimes, and I don't want to pick up the phone. I'd rather just send an email or even send something in the mail. But people are so overwhelmed. They get so much mail, so much email that if you call them, you are going to stand out. You are going to make an impact. You're going to make an impression. So have you had any response yet from that?
I've had 2 people ask me to send information to them.
Okay. Are you starting in your local area, or what's your strategy?
There really aren't any in the area. Well, there's one store in the area that I'm in, and the thing with independent bookstores, a lot of them want you to send them samples. They want it on consignment.
Right.
Well, I personally, I'm not real keen on doing stuff on consignment. I mean, if I want to do everything on consignment, I can do it with Barnes and Noble.
Right.
Brick and mortar stores. Because if you send it to them on consignment and the cover gets torn, I can't do anything with the book after that. It means I just ate the cost on it. I'll give them a discounted price. And with the bookstores that I've sold things to in the past, you can do a 70-30 split where you get 70, they get 30, somewhat a 60-40 split. I never go any higher than that 40% split. Never.
Okay. Yeah. And so, you'll just, again, have to evaluate, how is this working for you? Is this working? And is this something that you want to continue to invest time into, or to tweak your strategy? What I do recommend for the bookstores is to try, just at least start in your state. So even if you don't have someplace in your local area, try to start as close to where you're at as possible, because people love to support authors that are local. So regional, and then your state. So if you can, is that what you have been doing?
Yeah, I started in Northeast Florida. I actually started with Jacksonville and St. Augustine. The local store here, they're happy to take the books. They want it on consignment. I'm just not wild. I'll do it for some bookstores, but I'm not going to sit there and have 100 books out there with the strong possibility that you would have so many come back that they're in unsellable condition.
Right.
I mean,
yes.
Write it off my taxes, but still it's hard money out there, and I don't find it beneficial from a business model standpoint.
Yeah. All right. So we're kind of running out of time, but I just wanted to touch on a few other things you had mentioned. You said investigate doing audiobooks. Now, audiobooks would be another product which would definitely bring you some more income. It just depends on the genre. It depends on the type of book, how much it will bring. But I can tell you, we make money every month from audiobooks. And the way I got my audiobooks online the first time was I went through ACX and used the 50-50 royalty split. I know a lot of authors don't want to do that, but if you do that, it's a quick way to get your books out there and earning additional income for you without you having to do the work. So is that something that you would consider, or were you wanting to do them a different way?
No, I was actually thinking about that, and that was one of the things I did want to talk to you about. So thank you for bringing that up and sharing that.
Yeah, so I would say that would be something I would recommend prioritizing. Start with your best-selling book, because my best-selling book on Kindle and Amazon, it tends to be my best-selling audiobook as well. And so it's not always the case, but I'd recommend start with, your best-selling book and try the process. Hire somebody on there to do a 50-50 royalty split. If you have any questions, post them in the Author Audience Academy group. A lot of us have done it already, so you can, let us know. But that would be a way to make additional income from the work you've already done. So I definitely think I would recommend that you would prioritize that. And then I did want to talk to you about your newsletter. You said maybe once a week or twice a month. How are you doing your newsletter right now?
Right now, I changed up things the way I was doing them. Last year, I was doing them once a month. This year, I've already sent out the first one at the beginning of the year, and did a call to action, a CTA, asking people to send me an email, and I'd be happy to send them a complimentary review copy of one of the books, because I really wanted to get some more reviews going. The sales are doing okay, but I need more reviews.
Yeah.
And that's biggest thing right now is getting the reviews. And so it's about time for me to get another one out. I was thinking I would do them twice a month and do some contests during the course of the year.
I think that's a great idea. I saw you had monthly contests on there as well. And so that's something we could also talk about in the Author Audience Academy group on how to do that and what to do. You know, our time is up. It goes by so fast. But I think right now you're at a place where, you know, you have your main goal, you have this income goal, you have books already created that are earning income for you. You're writing new books, which will add to that. I mean, I just found the more books I write, the more, because you have loyal fans and followers that will buy everything that you produce. You have an email list set up. How many subscribers do you have right now?
I've got about 250.
Okay, that's great. It's a great start. You're really good at engaging. So make sure when you're sending anything to your list, you know, share stories, share things, like make it personality driven and engage with them. And really, I mean, all you need is, I think I've heard the statistic is 1,000 loyal fans.
Yeah.
And you already have 250 subscribers. You're very engaging personality. So, you know, just continue that. You have the videos that you're doing as well. So I think, you know, you have a plan for the marketing. Have you looked through the author automation system? Is that something that you're considering for your books or not?
Actually, I am. And based off the author automation platform module, I actually have created Parker Bell's main character, Parker Bell's 10 Commandments Guide to Life, that's now up on the website, and people can sign up and get that. As soon as I get this third book finished, I'm going to make the first book as a perma-free book on Amazon. So that's where it is. I was debating about writing a short ebook on my character and what she's about and her take on life. And I thought, you know, I don't know if I really want to do that, because by the time I get that one done, I could have been a lot further along in this third book. And I really think it's more important to do the third book. The 10 Commandment things, it's a humorous look at life. People can do that. They've got that and get them going on that. And I've got an email series that, you know, once somebody joins and, you know, oh, would you like a free book? Okay, I'll give you, you know, the first book for free. And if you'd be kind enough to do a review on it. So, I mean, I'm doing that. I also just weeded out about 100 people off of my list just because they weren't engaging on anything whatsoever. Yeah. So I just did it. And, you know, after 6 months, if somebody's not engaging in one form or another, it's time to, you know, let them go experience life elsewhere.
Yeah, I do that as well occasionally. So I love that. I think that is perfect for you. You're getting to the point where you have enough books, you know, once you have this third one published, that you can use that perma-free model. And for anyone listening, this is a great way, especially for fiction authors, but I have used it for years with my nonfiction books, is having a book out there on Amazon for free to introduce people to you. Then they can sign up to your email list, buy your other books, and it's a whole process that I recommend. So I'm really glad to hear that you're doing that, because that, I think, will really be like a fire that will help continue to fuel, you know, your system and that sort of thing. Now, do you have any questions as far as like how to prioritize this and what to do? It sounds like you really have a good plan for the daily tasks to do, and you've really broken it down well. Do you have any other questions for me on that?
No, I am so grateful that I signed up to be with you. I mean, I've actually known about you for a number of years and did training authors or something. I forgot now what it was, but a long time ago, and you gave such great information for all of that. And I really felt like God actually had been working on me for a couple of months to sign up. And so I really, no, I mean, I'm serious. So anyway, so when I joined you, it was like, boom, stuff just started shifting and happening. So I'm very blessed. So
yeah, and I'm thankful for you. Sharon right now is heading up our book launch team in Author Audience Academy, which is a benefit. Anyone that's a member can sign up to have a Kindle book promoted for a 99-cent sale. We all support each other, but Sharon, thank you so much for doing that. And helping the other authors in the group. So that's great. But yeah, I just am excited to see what 2017 has for you. You have a lot of great ideas, and maybe we'll have to have you on later again as you put these ideas into practice and you implement them and come back and report back on what works, what you found, and where you're at, as this year goes on. But thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you.
Super. Thank you so very much.
All right. And thank you all for listening. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.